Honourable Teriana Turia.
Tēnā koe, Mr Speaker. I'd like to join with others in paying my condolences to the family of Tim O'Connell. And in thinking about that young man, I think of my niece's husband who died around about 2 years ago. He too served in many battalions overseas and came back here to New Zealand, was only back a matter of weeks and collapsed and died at his home at only 39 years of age. And did we honour that young man? No, he was only days away from having served this country for 20 years in the army, and still today his widow is fighting to get his pension paid to her. So sometimes I think that when we pay homage to these people who serve us so well overseas, we need to make sure that we remember those whom we don't honour, whom we should. In a place like this, sometimes it's easier to focus on the points of conflict than to ever focus on a vision of what could be. Yet what has been so incredible in the momentum that has swept us up in the philosophy of whānau ora is to realise the extent of optimism and determination that is a driving force in our whānau and in our communities. I've met amazing New Zealanders who are catalysts for great change, combining action with vision to make things happen. I met one of those New Zealanders yesterday, says Stephen Tyndall. They are inspired by the potential of their own to be all that they can be. They believe that they are only limited not by their abilities but by their vision. And they are committed to nourishing their dreams and the dreams of others, to share their ideas and to knowing that together they can accomplish more than they have ever dreamed possible on their own. I return to the hope of these everyday leaders every time I hear another story of grief on the news. And I wonder who was there in the life of that whānau to nurture them through the darkness, to give them hope that one day too that they will dance in the light of the moon. We all know the homegrown advice that every child deserves to know there is at least one significant adult who totally believes in them. And no doubt all of us in this Parliament recall the influence of at least one adult who's helped to shape our own pathway. We may have forgotten what they said to us, but we will never forget how they made us feel. They helped us to live in the world around us, to help us to participate effectively in all worlds. We must embrace a sense of literacy which is not only about reading the word, but is also about learning to read our world, to know the geography of our landscapes, our history, our carvings, the tukutuku in our meeting houses, the relationships that bind us together. Literacy is about taking part in the fullness of our environment. It is understood in the recognition of our atua and respect and meaning that we acquire from Ranginui and Papatuanuku me ona tamariki. Our mountains, rivers, lands and streams have been desecrated by the hand of mankind in the name of progress. And I only have to think about our river claim, the Whanganui River claim, one of the longest set of legal proceedings in the Māori claims history, to recall a history where the riverbed was expropriated, use, ownership, control and management was fragmented, fishing rights denied, water and gravel extracted without compensation. There has been environmental degradation, riparian lands wrongfully acquired, eel weirs destroyed, and so it goes on. And we must continue to fight to protect and preserve our awatupua, what we describe as our aortic artery, the central bloodline of that one heart. And while we are pursuing justice in one realm, we must take that same passion to confronting the injustices and barriers that confront too many of our families every day. One greatest challenge is that we must not let others define us by default, focusing on our perceived deficiency to the extent that we lose our sense of self and can't have hope and aspiration. I want more for my mokopuna. I want them to have a future based on my actions today. Only my attitudes and behaviours can give them that. It is my lifelong ambition to invest in the power of their potential, to remind ourselves to always believe in our abilities, our ideas and our talents, And we do not need to change the world. Each of us need to only change ourselves. How hard is that?
Sue Moroney.